Alright, so I'm going to show how to open up and disassemble this 2020 M1 MacBook Pro. There's a 13-inch model A2338. Alright, so we're going to use a Pentalobe 1.2 or a P5 screwdriver to open the bottom cover. Alright, and then if it's like all the other MacBooks I've been working on, we're also going to need a T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver, as well as a T3 Torx 3 screwdriver, and possibly a T8 screwdriver or Torx 8 screwdriver if we're going to be removing the screen hinge. Alright, so anyways, Pentalobe 1.2 or P5 screwdriver. We're going to remove all the bottom screws. You want to keep the screws in order because they are different size, shape, and length. So I put the flat side down like that on my desk and the pattern that I remove them. So here you'll see there's 2 here and then there's 4 at the bottom. So that's how I'll put them on my desk. Alright, just like that. Actually, put them here onto the side. Alright, if this video helps you, make sure to like, subscribe, and share my channel with others so that they can also learn how to work on their devices, upgrade them, and things like that. Alright, if my video helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little bit to the channel so that I can continue doing this for a living. Alright, I actually do these repairs for a living. These are customers' computers, but as I make more and more of these videos and my videos become more popular, I actually end up getting less work because people are fixing their devices on their own. But anyways, let's go ahead and open up this cover. So we're going to use a suction cup here. I'm going to rotate the computer so it's easier for me to work on. So let's get the suction cup on there. We're going to pull this up slightly, get our fingernails or pry tools underneath here. All right, so once we get under there, what we're going to do, we're going to work our way over to the side here. I'm going to push down on this side while I pull up on the cover with my other fingers, as well as pulling up on this side, just like this. Okay, to pop the clip. Then we're going to go ahead and go to the other side and do the same thing. All right, we're going to work our way over to the side here. Okay, go down to the side, and then we're going to do the same thing, push down while pulling up, just like that. All right, make sure the center clips pop up as well. They usually pop themselves up as you lift the bottom cover from the sides. Let me clean this up here. Oh, it's stuck there. A little rubbing alcohol. Oh, that's stuck there. Okay, we'll leave that. Alright, so now we're going to remove the bottom cover. So to remove the bottom cover, this is like all the other 2016, 17, 18, 19 models. But anyways, we're going to grab this like that, just the cover part itself, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to have to pull this down while we push this side down as well. I wrap my fingers over here so that way the computer doesn't fall over as I'm doing this. So I'm going to push down here and pull down here. Oh man, this cover's stuck real strong. We're going to pull it. Okay, since that side's barely coming out, we're going to go over to the other side. And we're going to do the same thing, okay? Get our fingers in the cover. And then we're going to go ahead and try and pull this down just like this. Come on, cover, release. There we go. Okay, so we got that cover out. Once we get one side pulled down like that, I don't know if you can see that, all right? We're going to go ahead and pull this side. It should be a lot easier, so I'm going to get my fingers under there, and then we're going to go ahead and slide this out just like that, all right? And there we go. So here we got, oh, you can see all the water already in here. So we're going to dry this up. Okay. First thing we're going to do now is disconnect the battery. That's the most important thing when you're working on a liquid spilled computer. Let's go ahead and get in here. All right, so this one, we're going to peel this sticker adhesive thing up. You're going to slowly pull on it. All right, and then slowly peel this up as well. Just like that. So we're going to take this out, set that aside. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and disconnect this cable. This is one of the battery cables here. So there's actually 2 things connected to the battery. So we're going to grab that tab. We're going to peel it slightly back here. All right, then we're going to flip this little latch up slightly. All right, once we flip that latch up, we're going to grab the connector back here on the flat side, and then we're going to pull it back. There we go. All right, now we're going to undo this T5 or Torx 5 screw right there. All right, make sure to switch over to your T5 Torx 5 screwdriver bit. All right, we're gonna undo this screw. Okay, after you undo the screw, you'll notice that the tab still stays down. So we're gonna have to actually bend that up. So here you can see it's bent downwards. We're gonna have to get underneath here with a plastic tool. I use my fingernail. We're gonna just bend this slightly up so it's no longer touching the board. All right, now the battery is no longer connected to the computer. So we're gonna try and dry up this as best we can. All right, I'm going to have to actually completely disassemble this computer to make sure everything is dry under here. So this is going to be a lengthy process. So oh man, it's going in the screen cable too. That's not good. Okay, so this is probably, oops, I should have zoomed out so you guys could see all the water I was cleaning out. There was a lot of water all in here, all in the fan, all over, everywhere. Okay, so usually after you disconnect the battery, you'd open this thing up and then press and hold the power button. The water probably already drained all the battery out of it, but anyways, we're going to open this up and then we're going to press and hold the power button for about 10 to 15 seconds. This will drain any power in the capacitors, assuming that the power button is still okay, and then that way the computer will be a lot safer to work on. But I'm not sure because water got in here. It's really difficult to say. For all I know, everything could be fried on here. Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and go around the computer, removing any T5 screws that we see, and then we're gonna go ahead and later switch to the T3 screwdriver. So let's go ahead and remove the 3 screws holding this speaker in place. All right, this is my first time actually opening up one of these models, I believe. So actually, I think I've done a few for like screen replacement, but as far as like complete disassembly, I think this might be the first time. So let's go ahead and remove all these screws. Okay, once we get those 3 screws out, let's see, we should be able to lift the speaker up. Okay, it does move. I think it's connected right here. So let's zoom in here. Sorry, I'm gonna be like zooming in and out all over the place to try and show what I'm doing. But anyways, we're gonna lift this plastic tab out, peel it back just like the battery. Then we're gonna flip this latch, okay? That releases the connector for the speaker, and then we should be able to use this plastic tab to pull the speaker connector out. Let's see if it will come out. There we go, it's kind of wiggling. There we go, come on, there we go. So we got that connector out. Now, let's see, we should be able to pop the speaker out, but it's kind of like holding itself in there. Let's try with a little plastic tool here. I'm gonna try and pry it up from the side here. Wow, nope, that's, oh yeah, it's coming out. Okay, so we're gonna just lift this out here, just like this. We're gonna be careful here, but we're gonna lift the whole thing and pull this out. So here we go, we got the first speaker out. This is the right speaker. Since the thing's upside down, it's on the left side, but that's the right speaker. All right, let's go ahead and do the same thing on the left speaker, which is on the right side here. Okay, so we're gonna remove these 2 screws. Wow, I'm gonna get mixed up with the other Mac I was working on. Try and keep them separate. All right, there we go, get those 2 screws out, and then we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna disconnect the cable here, okay? Peel that adhesive tab back, flip this latch over. All right, once you flip that latch up, is it flipped up all the way? There we go. Then we're gonna go ahead and use this plastic tab to kind of just wiggle and pull the connector out. Just like this, there we go. All right, and then let's go ahead and use the plastic tool, just like before, to lift this thing up. Slowly lift it as it clears that rubber piece, and then we're gonna pull this out. Hopefully the rubber pieces will be able to go back in place on their own. I don't know, that looks, I don't know, they hold themselves in there pretty well, so I don't think just smashing this on will work. Let's see. Oh man, yeah. No, smashing these speakers back down, it's not gonna work. So Apple's doing stuff to make it so that they can tell that you took stuff out. I'm gonna have to see how I can somehow get this back. We might have to like take the rubber things off of here if possible. Oh yeah, okay. So the rubber pieces do come out. So we're gonna have to manually like shove the rubber pieces back in this way, if possible. I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna do that, but I'll have to figure out a way. All right, so these rubber pieces, you probably want to, if possible, make these come up with the speaker, but it looks like they didn't want to do that. So again, I don't know, I'm gonna have to figure out a way to get these little rubber things back in the speakers. But I don't know, that seems very tough to do. All right, so we'll set that speaker aside. All right, so got both speakers out, set them aside. Let's go ahead and see what else we gotta disconnect. So we got this little short ribbon cable here. I'm not sure where that's going to. It looks like it's going underneath the battery. All right, let's peel this back. Let's flip the latch. Okay, and then go ahead and pull this connector out. There we go. Then we got this connector here. We're going to do the same thing. Peel this plastic stuff back. Okay, flip this latch up. And then we're going to pull this connector out. This looks like a keyboard, the keyboard connector. All right, let's see. Are there other T5 screws? Are these T5 screws? Okay, it looks like these are all T5 screws, which is kind of nice. All right. Yeah, let's go ahead and remove all these T5 screws. There's more water here, so let me dry that out as well. I'm a little worried because I saw water going towards the screen area. Oops, sorry, I'm going out of view again. All right, so let's go ahead and remove some more T5 screws. Let's see, these are all T3 over there. All right, are these all T3? Are these T5s? Okay, these fan screws are actually T5 screws. Oops, let's zoom out. These fan screws are T5 screws, but they're not gonna come out easily. So, I mean, they're not gonna come out. I can't take the fan out till I take the main board out. So we're gonna leave that in there for now. Let's go ahead and start removing these little screws for these connectors. Okay. So we're gonna take out these two screws here. I believe this is for the power button as well as the fingerprint sensor, Touch ID. All right, so get those two screws out. We'll take this metal bracket off. All right, and we're gonna set that aside. We're gonna go ahead and lift this connector up. So I just get my fingernail under there, and then I'm gonna just pop this up. Wow, that's holding on really strong. Let's try from this corner. Wow, that connector is really strong. We're gonna try both at the same time. Maybe you have to wiggle it. Let's try this corner. There we go. All right, wow, that connector was pretty difficult to remove. And we're gonna have to move this rubber stuff out of the way, it looks like. All right, because this cable is gonna stay down there. Oh, there's water in here too. Okay, make sure to get all that water up. We're gonna peel this cable out. You wanna try and keep this cable flat. You don't wanna crease it. So I'm gonna pull it this way as I kind of pull it up. All right, and slowly, carefully peel this. I'm gonna put my finger here so that way it doesn't just suddenly like release and then tear this cable. Okay, there we go. Now slowly lift it. There we go. All right, so you got that out. Oh, there's like a lot of water inside the fan itself. I don't know how we're gonna manage that. Okay, we got the fan connector here. Let's go ahead and remove more of these T5 screws. So we got, well, the screen connector here is gonna have 4 screws going along. So let's go ahead and remove the 4 screws going along back here. Okay, again, you want to keep all these screws in order. I'm putting all the screws in a layout so that I can remember which way to put them all back. Okay, so we got those 4 out. There's the wireless antennas under here. There's most likely another screw. Let me see if there's a screw under here that I need to remove or not. let's see here. How can I peel this up without destroying anything? Oh yeah, there's definitely another T5 screw under there. So this thing is going to be a pain to remove. To remove it, I'm going to use this little tool, and I'm going to kind of just scrape at the adhesive to slowly peel it up as I'm going. Let me see if I can zoom in and show this a little bit better for you guys. Alright, so I'm going to be scraping at the adhesive here. Right, I'm just scraping underneath the adhesive to slowly lift it up. I hate this design. Okay, some of the adhesive is still sticking. Huh, how come that antenna just came out on its own? Interesting. Well, whatever. Okay, this side, that adhesive didn't come out right. So, alright, there we go. So, and then they put all this, dang, that's messed up. Alright, let's go ahead and continue scraping under here. I have to use the thinner side to poke at it because the other end is too wide. Alright, so there we go. We peeled up most of the adhesive. I'm going to leave this one tab here, and then we're going to pull up this antenna as well. Go from the tail, okay, and then we're going to just lift it up. There we go. Let's go ahead and undo this T5 screw as well. Okay, I'm going to set that aside. Alright, let's see what else we got here. Are these T5 screws? Yes, they are. Okay, so it looks like all these motherboard screws are T5 screws. Nice. Let's go. Oops. Sorry, I'm going out of view again. This is... I either have to show a detailed view and then forget that I'm recording, or have to do like a far away view and then it's hard to see. So we're going to take out these two screws here holding this bracket in place. Okay, this is for the trackpad. Alright, let's move this metal bracket. Go, and then we got one screw here. We're going to remove that as well. Alright, we got another screw off to the side here. Let's see here. We got these 3 screws. Oh, actually 4 screws. So let's go ahead and remove the one up here. Okay, then we got these 2 going across. Oh, I think these are actually T3 screws because, yep, those are T3 screws. So we're going to wait on those. Alright, let's see here. What else do we need to remove? I think we got most of the T5 screws that we can for now. The fan we're likely going to just leave in here, so I'm not going to take the fan screws out. So I'm going to switch over to the T3 or Torx 3 screwdriver right now. Okay, and let's go ahead and remove the little hinge covers here for the screen. I'm going to actually pull the screen out, I think. Let's go ahead and remove this. Okay, so we're going to remove these 2 screws. Once you've done that, we're going to lift the plastic tab up and pull that out. I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. Okay, we're basically doing a complete disassembly of this, minus the battery and the trackpad, because I don't think I need to take the trackpad out. The trackpad's pretty straightforward. It's basically the same as all the other 2016 to 2019, 2020 models. Alright, get those screws, same thing, pull that back. Alright, let's see, what else do we got to remove here? There's all these cables and latches and stuff. So, okay. Alright, so if we're going to be removing the screen, we're also going to need a Pentalobe 0.8 or P2 screwdriver. But anyways, let's continue taking out these Torx T3 screws here. So I'm going to remove these screws. Oh wait, am I mixing stuff up here? Okay, let's go in there. Alright. Sorry, I'm trying to put my screws in the pattern so I can remember. Alright, then we got the last third one down here. Alright, so we got that screw. Flip over, let go of my finger. There we go. Alright, let's see. Let's take this metal bracket out as well. Okay, so now we got a bunch of more cables here. Oh, there's some water under there as well. That's not good. So we got the USB-C charge ports here. So we're gonna lift that out. Again, you can use plastic pry tools. I just use my fingernails. Once you lift that up, you're gonna just bend this slightly out of the way. Right, we're gonna lift these two out. I think these are for like the touch board. Actually, this one, what is this? I don't know what that's connected to, but it moves around. That's kind of weird. All right, let's make sure to dry under here. There's water underneath here as well. Okay, I'm gonna flip this connector up as well. Come on, there we go. This one is held down with some adhesive, so I don't know. I don't know if that's attached to the motherboard or not, or if that's a separate piece. Oh, that's a separate piece. Okay. So we're going to continue removing these connectors here. Let's go ahead and remove the T3 screws here for the screen connector. Okay. So have to be careful with these screws here. Sometimes they get stuck. Not sure why, but okay, that screw seems loose, but it's staying in there. There we go. Okay, so for some reason the screws for this metal bracket stay in this metal plate, so we're just going to lift it with the screws and set it aside. There we go. We're going to take the two screws out from here as well. Uh-oh, there's water in there. That's a bad sign. That's probably a dead screen. All right, let's go ahead and remove the two screws here as well. All right. Got those two screws out. Let's go ahead and remove that bracket as well. All right, there we go. There's more water under here. Oh my God, this is not good. All right, let's go ahead and pop this connector off this board. You want to hold this board down while you pop this connector off. Okay. If you want, you could leave those T5 screws, but I already took them out. All right. So here we go. Oh God, there's water in the whole screen connector. That's very bad. It doesn't look burnt or anything, so they might have some luck. It might be still okay, but we'll find out. All right, there's two connectors down here, so let's go ahead and peel this up and disconnect those as well. I'm not sure what these are, maybe microphones or something. All right, so peeled that, undid that latch. Go ahead and grab the connector and pull that out. There we go. Same thing with this side. Peel that tape up. Once you peel the tape up, flip the latch. Once the latch is flipped, grab the tape and wiggle and pull the connector out. There we go. All right, let's see what else we got here. Where else is this being held down? I'm guessing it's being held down underneath on this side as well. So let's go ahead and remove all the T3 screws over here. So there's two silver ones up here. Wow, there's a lot of screws. Holy moly. Hopefully you guys are able to keep track of all of this. That's a lot of screws. Okay, second one out. Once we got those two out, it looks like there's a bracket we can remove here. So let's go ahead and remove this. Right, is that a bracket? I don't know. No, it's just some adhesive tape thing. So we're gonna leave that, I guess. All right, see another screw here. Let's remove that. I don't think I have to remove that plastic stuff, so I'm gonna leave that for now. All right, then we got one more screw over here. Okay, after removing these two and not the silver one, the two black screws, we can remove this metal plate. Okay, so this is for the fingerprint sensor, I believe. So we're gonna flip that connector off the board. Okay, just like that. I'm not sure how this is being held in. Are you serious? They're using a one of these little hex things. So I don't know if I have one that fits that. Let's see here. Not that one. 3.0. Okay, it's a 3.0. So I've never had to remove one of these on a Mac before, so there we go. Oop, it's stuck in there. Okay, so that screw looks like this. Looks like a stop sign. Actually, no, yeah. Wait, no, a stop sign is 8-sided. This is 6-sided, so there's a hexagon. All right, so we're gonna set that little piece aside. Okay, and it looks like now we can actually lift the motherboard out. So I didn't have to disconnect the stuff for the fingerprint sensor and the buttons here, but as you can see, this button is loose now. All right, let's go ahead and disconnect the fan before we forget and then end up tearing that out. Let's go ahead and peel this tape piece up. Okay, come on, this is somewhat of a pain. Okay, get underneath that little tape on piece. Peel that back. Same like all the other connectors. Once you peel it back, flip the latch. Why is this one being difficult? There we go. And pull that fan connector out. Okay, I think they put an adhesive underneath here to hold this on the motherboard. That's dumb. There we go. Okay, so we got the fan connector out. Now let's see, can we lift the whole motherboard up? Are we missing anything? Oh, I didn't oops, I need to zoom out so you guys can see everything. All right, I didn't undo the connector for the trackpad here, so let's go ahead and get underneath and lift that out. Come on. Flip that connector off. There we go. All right, so we got the trackpad connector out as well. Is that water or is that just like dust or something? All right, there we go. Let's go ahead and see if we can lift this whole connector out. Oh, we almost missed one. There's a third connector on the back here. My goodness, how many of these are there? All right, flip that latch up. And we're gonna go ahead and wiggle and pull that connector out. Why is it not coming out? Come on. Come on. Come on, you know you want to come out. There we go, got that connector out. Alright, so now we got the whole logic board, motherboard out, it looks like. Again, you want to lift very slowly and carefully. There's this connector over here getting caught a little bit. Let's zoom out more. Okay, that connector usually gets caught on all the motherboards that I've worked on. Right, we're going to slowly pull it towards us as we continue lifting. And here we go. We got the motherboard, logic board out. There's actually quite a bit of liquid residue stuff here. So the way you clean that up, just make sure you're grounded so that you don't get any static electricity. I have my knee on my metal desk. And then we're just going to use a toothbrush and kind of scrub that stuff out. Okay. Man, I don't know if the problem is if stuff got under here, we can't really clean that out. That's the problem. So we're gonna have to hope that it only got into this area and that the board is okay. All right, so I'm just scrubbing off the corrosion and residue here. Okay, there's also some corrosion and residue here by the screen cable, which is really bad. So far I haven't seen anything that looks like it's fried or toast completely. So there's at least some slight chance that it might work. Alright, let's continue scrubbing this junk. Okay, main thing is clearing out the corrosion so there's no shorts on there. Right, there's some more water down in here. Clean that up. I'm gonna have to use my air blower after this to kind of just blow the entire thing. Alright, there's a liquid damage detection sticker here that was coming off. Alright, let's look at the other side. There's a lot of water on this thing, so we're gonna have to dry that up. Okay, let's take this rubber piece out. Let's dry this off. Make sure everything in here is dried up. I'm gonna use my air blower and kind of handheld air blower and just, oh, there's a lot of water in there. That's not good. Okay, let's go ahead and try that. Alright, I'm gonna hold this off to the side and I'm gonna blow the water out of this thing. Alright, so actually we can just get a paper towel here and I'm gonna just blow the water out onto the paper towel. I don't know if you can see that, all the water coming out. Okay. Pretty crazy, that's a lot of water. Alright, so let's take a look at some more. There's a tiny bit of water down here, but I don't see any more corrosion. I'll dry off the heatsink completely. Okay. And if you're wondering, you can remove this screen or LCD LVDS connector here. There's these two screws holding the other side. The connector itself looks okay. There is water in it, but it looks like it's okay. I don't see anything in the actual physical connector itself. Right, and the rest of this board looks okay. I don't see any signs of damage on the other side, so most of the damage was all on this side. Scrubbed out most of the corrosion, so hopefully that will be okay. Alright, there's this little tiny component here though, I don't know about that. But okay, so we're gonna hope this board is okay. Let's go ahead and set this aside. Okay, let me see, where can I put this that it's not gonna too much junk on my desk now. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at the rest. Don't forget this rubber piece there. Okay. The fan here has a little water. Oh, that's the other thing. There's a lot of water in the fan itself. So I'm going to block the fan and then we're going to just blow this thing and hope that the water will go out into the paper towel. Okay. Alright, so let's get that. Okay. Let me actually we can take the T5 screws out of here. Let's switch back to the T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver. I'm just going to take the fan out like temporarily, not permanently. Let's slowly peel this up again. Okay. Alright, let's take these 3 screws out that are holding the fan in place. Kind of just want to see underneath. Three. I think the customer was texting me. Alright, let's see if we can lift the fan out. Oh, there's a 4th screw actually for the fan. Almost missed that one. Alright, I don't know if this is holding the fan in place as well or not. Oh, nope. Okay. So here we're taking the whole fan out. Actually, I guess you can leave this connected. It looks like it pulls this whole thing up, but just to be safe, I don't want to pull that with it. So let's go ahead and take the fan out. Alright, so we dried this pretty well. There's no water under here, so it looks like we're okay as far as that's concerned. There's a tiny drop here. We're going to clean that. I don't know if this is going to come out. Again, I don't want to yank it too hard. It looks like this piece is all part of this cable, so yeah, I don't want to yank that out. I'm going to leave that in place. If anything, let me actually put these silver screws back in. This is for the headphone jack actually, and those are using the T3 Torx 3 screws, so let's go ahead and put those back in just to be safe. I'm gonna put those screws back in because I don't want to mess around with it and then tear something over there. Alright, so I'm pushing the headphone jack against the edge of this, and then I'm also trying to make sure this screw hole is lined up properly. Alright, there we go. I'll make sure this stays in place, the headphone jack. There we go. I'm going to stick back down the power button cable connector here if I can. Let me make sure this is lined up properly and click that in. There we go. Yeah, I don't want to mess around with that and then end up breaking it. Let me open this up again and see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is for like the power button and fingerprint sensors. Alright, only things left that I would remove from here are the screen cable assembly here. I'm gonna have to check what my customer's saying real quick, but let me blow the fan out off the camera. Alright. Yeah, a lot of water is coming out of there, so I'm gonna have to. Alright, let me pause the video. I'm gonna blow the fan out real quick to make sure it's dry, and I'll be back. I ended up having to use my electric air blower to clean all the water out of there. There was a lot of water stuck in the fan. Alright, so I dried it all, or I blew all of it out as much as I could. Hopefully it's okay. I can actually take this fan apart, so let me do that real quick. I'm going to use a PH0 or JS0 screwdriver, and let's see if I can actually separate and open up this fan. This wasn't part of the plan, but let's see. Looks like we can, so might as well give it a shot. Alright. 2, 3, there's 4 screws holding this bottom cover in. Uh-oh, I don't know if this one's gonna come out. Okay, there we go. Alright, and last screw in this bottom corner here. You have to keep quite a bit of pressure when undoing these screws. Alright, there we go. Alright, so we got those 4 screws out. Let's go ahead and see if it separates or if it's still stuck together. It's somewhat separating. Okay. There we go. Here we go. So there's a tiny bit of water left, but not really much. Okay, tried that out. I don't think we can take these propellers off of this fan. Nope. Alright, so we got that. Gonna dry the inside. There's a tiny bit of water. It wouldn't affect anything if I left it there, but might as well. Alright, let's get this all reconnected. Okay, get everything lined back up. Let's go ahead and put these screws back in. Again, I didn't have to do that. I just, because I could, might as well double check, make sure everything is dried in there. Okay, just put back the 4 screws for the fan. Alright, I'm going to actually take the motherboard outside as well and then use my electric blower to make sure that everything is completely dry. Alright, so the fan is dried out. I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to put this here for now. I'm going to take the motherboard out and I'm going to go blow all the air out, or blow all the liquid out that I can with the electric air blower. Alright, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, so it's a good thing I took this out to blow dry it. There was a lot of water hidden underneath the heatsink here in between the layers, and there's actually still a little bit there, so I might have to dry it up a little more. I don't see any components under there that could get corroded, so that's a good thing. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna take this out, dry it a little bit more, and then we're gonna go ahead and remove the screen. Alright, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, so I dried this out as much as I could. Looks like it's all dried in there. Alright, so we're gonna set this aside and we're gonna hope that this thing is okay. Alright. Okay, now let's go ahead and remove the screen. I'm gonna go ahead and put the fan back in here, just because if I wait and put it in later, there's a good chance I might forget, and this has screws that go underneath other components, so I'm gonna have to make sure that this goes in first. Alright, so make sure this is lifted. Alright, get that lined up properly. Okay. Alright, let's go ahead and put those T5 or Torx 5 screws back in. Too many screwdrivers I'm using now, I'm getting confused. Alright. Get these screws. Okay, I'm going to loosely fit that first so that I can get all 4 screws in. Just like that. Last screw. Alright, let's go ahead and tighten them all down. Alright, the biggest thing I'm worried about is how I'm going to get these speaker rubber pieces back in, because I think normally they're supposed to come up with the speakers, not stay on these posts, and I don't know why all of them stayed on those posts. Alright, so anyways, next thing we're going to do, we're going to remove the wireless antennas here. So to do that, we're going to use the P2 or Pentalobe 2 screwdriver. Alright, and we're going to remove all these little screws. So this is basically screen repair or screen replacement video, and this is used for pretty much all the 2016 to current models. Alright, 2020 or so. Alright, let's go ahead and remove these. These screws are the same type of screws that are used in the iPhone. I mean, not the same type of screws, but the type of screwdriver that we have to use. Right, the iPhone screws are actually longer, a lot longer than these. Alright, so we're just going to remove all these screws. Alright, got all of those. Now we're going to go ahead and remove all the screws on this side. Is that water? No. Okay, let's go ahead and remove all the screws on this side. I don't know what all these tiny cables are, that there's like 3 of them. I don't know why it needs so many. I would have thought that one is at least for like microphone, but there's 3 and they look very similar, so I'm not too sure actually. This one actually I think is thinner than the rest. They might all be for the touch bar, I don't know. Alright. Sorry, I know there's a long, tedious process, but I like people being able to see like how much work it actually takes, because I can just fast forward it all, but then kind of what's the point? If you want to fast forward, you can just skip over. All right, so there we go. Now we're going to remove the wireless antennas here. So they have these little gaps here for the air vents. So what we're going to do, there's a lot of water in there. Oh, no. Okay, we're going to use that to lift up and remove the wireless antennas. So now we have to guide this around. We're going to rotate this to guide the wireless antennas out. There we go. And yeah, now we're going to just dry this out. There's a lot of water in here as well. So I'm probably going to have to take it outside and use the air blower as well. Yeah, there's a lot of water trapped in the back here as well. Okay, I'll be back. I'm going to dry this out. See you guys in a bit. All right, I'm back. I dried this thing out. This is a lot of components, guys. Man, okay. So let's zoom out. We're going to have to remove the screen now. So to remove the screen, what you want to do is we're going to open this thing all the way. Okay. And then we're going to rest the keyboard on our desk and have the screen going over the edge of our desk. Let me zoom out some more so you guys can see. You'll see all the screws and all the stuff laying on my desk. Okay. Let me zoom out. You guys can see. See how I have everything there? All right. Well, let's go ahead and zoom out here. So we're going to use the T8 or Torx 8 screwdriver now to remove the hinge screws. All right. Let's go ahead and remove those. After this, I'm going to just blow out the entire thing with my electric air blower, and then we're going to put it back together. And we're going to hope that everything is holding itself back together. All right. Or hope that the components aren't all destroyed from the water. All right. All right. Okay, now that we got all the 6 screws out here, I'm gonna let the screen fall down 90 degrees, and then we're gonna lift it out. Oops, I almost forgot. We still have some screws left to remove. Let's drop the screen back in before I destroy it. Uh-oh. Am I going to be able to drop it back? Okay. I guess I'm going to hold this screen for now. I forgot to remove the 2 screws over here on each side. So let's switch back to the T3, Torx 3 screwdriver. Oops, sorry guys. Okay, so we're going to remove these screws here. Since I did them in the wrong order, I'm going to have to do it the opposite now. So instead of left to right, I'm going to put the screws from right to left. Completely forgot about those screws. There we go. All right, so now that we got all of those, hopefully it will lift out just fine now. And there we go. All right, so now we got the screen out. I'm gonna have to blow this out and blow this out, all of these components, to make sure it's all dry, and I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, I'm back. So dried out the screen, dried out the back, all of this. There was a lot of water in this piece right here. All right, so I have a feeling the the touch bar is not going to work right. So anyways, let's go ahead and put the screen and stuff back together. All right, so let's go ahead and hold these cables up out of the way. All right, just like this. Oops, sorry, it's out of view. So I'm going to hold these cables up and out of the way as I drop the screen back into place, just like that. All right, so now I'm going to hold the screen up with my legs. Gonna go ahead, let's get the T8 screws and put these in first. Okay, so I'm just gonna put one of each screw in first here. This is basically how I would do a screen replacement on this model. All right, and we're gonna lift this up, and then we're gonna slowly close the screen. Okay, you want to slowly close it because you want to make sure that it's not getting caught on anything. Okay, there we go. Oh, there's a tiny bit of water left right there. Okay, so now that we've got that, what we're going to do, we're going to loosen the screws. Let me zoom in a tiny bit. Okay, we're going to loosen these screws. And then we're going to go ahead and make sure that all the edges, everything lines up properly. Okay, make sure nothing is crooked. There we go. You want to make sure the gap on here is even. Oops, sorry. Can't even see the gap between these two parts. Try and get them even. Alright, just want to make sure everything's nice and lined up. It doesn't need to be 100% lined up. This is more a cosmetic thing, but I like to try and get it as close as possible as I can. Okay, because nobody wants a crooked MacBook, right? Alright, make sure that's nice and flush, super smooth. Alright, let's go ahead and tighten this down. I don't know if I need to add more thread locker. It already has thread locker stuff there. Oops, I messed it up. So now the gap here is not even, so I'm going to loosen this and I'm going to fix that. It's such a pain when you try to get everything perfect. But it is what it is. Alright, let's go ahead and try. Might not actually even be possible to get this perfect. It looks like it's, when I try and line it up, it closes the gap weird. Okay, I guess it is what it is. Alright, let's go ahead and tighten this up again. Alright, that's better. I'm going to not tighten it too much. Oops. Yep, nope. It keeps wanting to go more to one side. Let's see here. There we go. Tighten that down. Alright. Get this one lined up completely and tighten that down. There we go. Let's go ahead and get all these hinge screws back in. If you want, you can add more Loctite, or thread locker, but I think the yellow stuff that's already there should be good enough, so we're going to reuse what they got there. Okay. Make sure these screws are nice and tight. Alright, there we go. Yep, these screws are good. Last one. Alright, there we go. We're done with the T8 Torx 8 screwdriver now. Let's go ahead and flip this over. We're going to get these little screws back in, the ones that I forgot last time. So those are the Torx 3. Okay. Let's zoom in. These are a little bit tricky. So to get these in, you do have to kind of rotate this and hold that in place. Get those springs to appear down here. Okay. And go ahead and do this. It's a lot easier when the motherboard or the logic board is out. Since I took the logic board out completely, this is actually easier than usual for replacing the screen. Okay, normally I would take out the screen without taking out the entire motherboard, so yep, alright. Let's go ahead and get this one, same thing. Twist the spring around. Make sure it faces the right way. Alright, hold that into place and tighten that down. We're actually going to put the wireless antennas after we put the motherboard back in, just so it's a little bit easier. Okay. Oops. Let's line up right. Why is that screw not wanting to go in right? Come on. It's not. Is it not lining up? Okay, let's loosen this a bit more. There we go. Okay, tighten this up. All right, so next thing, let's see, motherboard next. All right, let's go ahead and put the motherboard, or I call it a logic board, not a motherboard, because all the RAM, SSD, everything is part of this board now. So, all right, let's zoom out. Tricky part is making sure all these cables end up back on top. So keep that in mind. We have to get all these cables back on top when we put this back in. So this one might not be too bad because we can somewhat slide it over this way, I think. Right, make sure the fan cable ends up on top. I'm gonna peel this up here. Oh, the fan connector is going underneath. All right, so again, this is a little bit tricky getting all these cables back on top. Right, so you got this cable here, that cable. Gotta make sure the trackpad cable's on top. All right, make sure this keyboard cable and this small cable are on top. All these little cables here, then this power jack cable, and then we got the other one that's under there. Oh man, I'm gonna have to hold this up and then pull that while I do that. Let's see, can I lift this out? There we go. There we go. Okay, so make sure 1, 2, 3, got that one, that one, that one. This cable, okay, this cable's on top. Fan cable's on top, this one, and this one. All right, I think we got everything that we need to be on top. That's for the speaker. All right. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, it's a little tricky to line everything up completely. We're going to reattach this little bolt thing here first. Okay, so we're gonna switch back to that. Again, I forgot, I don't know what this is called, a hex 3, size 3. Might have to twist it a little bit by hand first. Let's see, will this work? I think if I put this in first, it goes too far. Yeah, it goes too far inside. So I have to somehow twist this by hand first. I know what I can do. So one way you can twist this screw in, you can switch to the T3, Torx 3 screwdriver. I'm going to get the Torx 3 screwdriver that was holding that metal cover on top, and we're going to put that into this screw first. Okay, and then we're going to use that so that we can screw this thing in. Okay. There we go. I'm not going to use the T3 screwdriver to screw that in. I'm going to use this to screw it in. So that way it'll be tighter than the T3 screwdriver, or tighter than the T3 screw. Alright, so the tricky thing is I'm going to actually get all these cables in first. So that way the motherboard will be lined up with the way it needs to be for all these cables to be connected. So let's go ahead and start reconnecting all these cables before we tighten that screw. That's kind of more of a placeholder, okay? So let's go ahead and snap this one down first. It's a little tricky to get things lined up. Okay, so get that lined up. It helps to kind of look at this from the side, and then click that in. I'm gonna slide this over that way. Okay. Oh, that's one thing I forgot. I need to put this rubber piece on top of this first. So let's take this back out. For now, I'm gonna go ahead and get this on. Okay. Try and get the rubber piece all lined up. Go, same thing with the other side. Lift this thing up again. Okay, make sure it's all lined up. Okay, there we go. I want to make sure this is all lined up. Now we're going to go ahead and get the T3 screwdriver and put this thing back in. Oh. Alright, we're just loosely fitting this so it doesn't move around too much. There we go. It still can move a little bit. Oops. Right, so this can still move a little, but we want to try and get everything lined up. All right, let's go ahead and get all these connectors. Let's get the fan connector back in. So there's adhesive, so we have to kind of lift it up slightly when we do this. Get that lined up. Pull that connector in. Once you get it pulled all the way over, what you want to do is slide your finger over the latch to latch it down, and then put this tab back on top. All right, we're going to do that with all these little cables here. Get that connector in. Okay, make sure to pull it all the way. Slide your finger over and then put that back on top. We keep working our way over. Okay, we're going to get this cable as well. Put that in. Slide our finger over the top. Put that down. All right, this one too. Pull the connector back. Right, get that in. Slide our finger over the top. Put that down. All right, let's go ahead and click in all of these. Again, it helps to look from the side so you can make sure everything looks lined up properly. This cable's a little tricky because it's like bent, folded a little bit. Go. All right, then this cable here, of course. Is it not seated in all the way? Nope, that's just how it is. Okay. So get this lined up and click that in. There we go. Those things are all clicked in nicely. All right, don't forget all these cables down here as well. Pull them back, get them in, use the tab to pull it in all the way, then slide your finger over the latch and put the tape down. Keyboard connector, same thing. Get that all lined up. Slide that in all the way. This one's a little bit tricky, come on. There we go. Slide the latch over, put that down. Right, trackpad connector, line it up, click it into place. Again, we don't want the battery to connect yet. All right, looks like we got most of it back in. Okay, so let's see here, what do we need? Now that all of this is in place, it's pretty well lined up again. So we're going to use this tool to tighten this screw into place. Alright, now that that's tightened in, I'm going to switch to the T3 or Torx 3 screwdriver and take that one screw back out. Okay, this one I put loosely just to get that started. Now we're going to get this metal bracket and put this back on top here. And we're going to get that screw, the T3 screw, back into it. Okay, I just loosely fit it for now, because we want to use that to help guide this one, so make sure it's lined up right. Alright, there we go. Tighten that down. Okay, and then we're going to get this screw and tighten that all the way in. There we go, perfect. Okay, let's go ahead and continue. Let's see, what should we do next? Let's actually put the wireless antennas back in first. Okay, so these can be a little tricky. It has to go back into that little groove there. Again, we're gonna have to lift this thing back up. Oops, the adhesive all stuck back down, so we're gonna have to scrape it back up. Okay, scrape all that adhesive back out. There we go. All right, so we're gonna rotate it just like before and get those antennas back in. Okay, and then we're going to slowly rotate that back over and make sure that connector goes in. It's slightly getting caught, so we're going to have to lift it up. There we go. All right, and now we got that into place. You want to make sure that these pieces line up properly while you're kind of dropping it. So hold this tight against the screw mounts. And then while you're holding that, you want to push the center of it down. And that should click into place. Now if you pull on this, you should see that the center is staying in place, and that means you mounted the antenna board properly. Alright, so now that you got that in, let's go ahead and reconnect the wireless antennas. Let me zoom in here. Okay. It's a little bit tricky here. So we're going to hold this up and out of the way. Then you're going to get these antennas and line them up right perfectly over those. You'll know it's lined up right because it will kind of fall in place, and then if you try and move it, it stays down. Then you can go ahead and smash it into place. Alright, same thing with the second antenna. Alright, it's good. You can see it's not moving around. And I can go ahead and snap that into place. Perfect. Let's go ahead and get the T5 or Torx 5 screw for there. Okay. Alright, let's see. Make sure I get the right screws. There's a lot of screws here. Okay, so we're going to take that screw and we're going to put this one back in there. There we go. And then we're going to just put this plastic piece back over and press it down. Alright, so now nobody will know. Alright. Next thing, we're going to go ahead and put back in all the P2 or pentalobe 1 or 0.8 screws for the wireless antennas. Right, there's a lot of them, so let's go ahead and go over there. Alright, so I like to do the 2 outer screws first, so pinch this to hold it in place. And we're going to put this screw in there. Alright, and we're going to get the other screw on the opposite end here. Same thing, hold this in place. I'm going to put this screw in there. Alright, once you get both those screws in, you can let go, and then we're going to put the rest of those in. Okay. Just like this. It's a lot of tiny screws. Okay, this cable's kind of a little bit crooked, so I'm going to pop this back up. Oops, sorry, I'm going out of view. Let me zoom out. This cable's a little crooked, so I'm going to pop it back out and then see if I can fix that. Peel that up a little. I'm going to be careful because I don't want to have to put those rubber pieces back in. It's a little bit of a pain. Okay, that lined up. Click that back down. Alright, and let's go ahead and work our way over this way. There we go. Now it's flat again. All right, let's go ahead and finish putting back all these screws. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Zoom in again. All right, we're going to do the outermost one first again, holding that into place. Let's go ahead and do the other one. Just like that. All right, and let's go ahead and put the last 4 back in. And I'm dreading having to put these rubber pieces for the speakers back. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to do it. Alright. I'm probably gonna try and figure out a way how to do it off camera, because it's probably gonna take a long time for me to figure that out. Alright, so we got all of those Pentalobe 0.8 or P2 screws in, so let's go ahead and switch back to the Torx 3 T3 screwdriver, and let's put back all these little brackets. Or actually, let me actually use the T5 and put back all the screws up here first. So we're going to get these in real quick. Actually, let's do all the motherboard screws. Let's zoom out more. Okay, so we're going to do these 4 first. So I'm going to loosely fit these first, just so that it's holding it in place, as you can see. Okay, this is just to make sure everything is aligned so that we can connect the LCD or LVDS connector, this cable. Last one. Alright, got all those in, so let's go ahead and tighten them down. Alright, now that we got all of those in, let's go ahead and reconnect this cable. Sometimes you have to push it slightly that way to reconnect it. Alright, so let's get that and then click that in. Good. Alright, let's go ahead and put back all these other little T5 screws here. So we'll put this metal bracket over here. Okay. In place. We're going to loosely fit it. Let's get the second one. There we go. Tighten that down. Tighten that down. All right, we're going to put back that screw down there here. Okay. There we go. Alright, and we got the bracket for the fingerprint, not the fingerprint, the touchpad. Alright, so we're going to get those screws in. Alright, I'm just loosely fitting them for now. Once I get both in, then I'll tighten them down. Alright, tighten it into place. Go. All right, we're gonna get these 2 in now. I think the rest are T3 screws after one more of this. Okay, so let's get this one in. And then we got one more up there. So we're gonna get that one in. Okay, there we go. Now let's go ahead and get this bracket in. Again, we're going to switch over to the T3 again, Torx 3. The only T5 screw left, I believe, is for the battery. So let's go ahead and get this lined up there. Okay. Alright, just loosely fitting it for now, making sure that I can get all 3 screws in. There we go, and last one. Alright, let's tighten that down. I don't know how I'm going to put those speaker things, the rubber pieces, back in properly. There has to be an easy way. I don't know. Alright, there we go. Got that bracket in. Let's go ahead and get the bracket for the screen now. So we got the 2 brackets here. So it helps to kind of take one screw like this, take this metal piece, and then get the screw through there, and then use that to help you guide this into place. Alright, once you get that, we're just going to loosely fit it first. Alright, get the next screw, get it lined up. There we go. Now we can tighten it down. Okay, now for the screen cover. Again, I don't know why on this model the screws stayed in place, but that's good. Makes it easier to work on. Alright, there we go. Is that lined up right? Yep, alright. Tighten those down into place. Okay, there we go. Let's go ahead and get this little plastic bracket mount back into place. Alright, tighten that down. This one. Tighten that down. Alright, we're going to go to the other side and do the same thing. Plastic bracket, slide that into place. Okay, second one. We're almost done. Again, I don't know how I'm going to get the speaker things in, but we're going to have to see. That's probably going to take me more than half an hour itself. So let's see. Alright, we got those. Alright, so I think all that's left are the speakers and the whatchamacallit. Oop, this is slightly crooked. I need to align that better, but whatever. Okay, so let's go ahead and see about the speakers now. I think those are actually T5 Torx 5 screws. So let's see, how am I going to do these rubber pieces here? So these rubber pieces are supposed to be in here. Wow, they hold in there really strong. So, okay, I don't know how I'm going to... It's weird that they came out like that. Let's see if I can somehow shove it through this way. Okay. So I'm going to try and squeeze this in. Oh, okay, that actually works. So I think it seems like it's working. Yeah, that kind of worked. I'm going to have to use this little pick to pull the rest up through. But for the most part, it worked. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so let me see if I can zoom in and show how I did this. All right. So first thing we're going to do is get this little rubber piece off. So just peel that up. Kind of want to slowly wiggle it. All right, so here you see this rough side. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to flip the speaker over to the bottom. We're going to kind of pinch this to squeeze it so it's like squished. And then we're going to get that squished thing in there. And then while you're doing that, you're going to kind of keep squishing and scrunching this thing and push that all in there like that. It's not going to all completely go through, and that's why we're going to go from the other side. But this side, because it's more flat, we can kind of help squish this over, as you can see. Right, then we're going to flip this over. Here you can see it's not pulled all the way through, so we're going to use a little pokey tool like this, and we're just going to help scrunch that in to pass that. There we go, and then this should open back up. If not, you can help it out. Alright, so this one you can see it's kind of weird, so there we go. Make sure that this is a nice clean circle. Alright, we're going to do that with all of these rubber pieces. Let's go ahead and peel this one out as well. Go. So let me see if I can zoom in and show this a bit better. Okay, so we're going to get this. We're going to scrunch it like this, and then we're going to shove that half in there. Then when you got that half in, you can go ahead and shove all of this in there. Okay, I know my fingernails and fingers are kind of blocking it, but hopefully you get the idea. So we're scrunching that to get that to go in there. Here you go. Now it's like all messed up donut. We're going to hold that from the bottom side here. Then we're going to use the pick to help pull that half through. There we go. Once you get that half through, then you can go ahead and round out that donut. Okay, here you can see it's still screwed up, so you can kind of like mess with this, flick it up, and round out that donut. All right, there we go. So now we can go ahead and put this speaker back in. I'm glad it didn't take too much effort to figure that out. All right, so to put the speaker in, you have to go at an angle because these have to go under, so slightly like that. I'm going to slowly lower this down just like that and make sure those things line up. Perfect. This cable, we're going to have to pull it back, and we're going to kind of have to curve it up at an angle. Then get that into the connector here. There we go. Push that down to line it up, and then slide it over. Huh, why isn't it going? Oh, the latch wasn't all the way up. There we go. Okay, get that in, slide that over, and then push the adhesive down. All right, let's go ahead and put the T5 or Torx 5 screws back in. Okay, just like this. Just like that. All right, last speaker, 2 screws, 2 rubber thingies. Now that we figured out how to do it right, we got this. All right, let's go over to this side. The only thing is, I don't know if this computer is going to work, so this might have all been for nothing, but I mean, at least it's all dried inside. So let's go ahead and grab this, wiggle this up. All right, so same thing like before. Again, we want this rough side pointing up, so we have the speaker upside down. We're going to scrunch this and get that in there. Okay, scrunch that into there. Okay, scrunch it up. The parts that are close to these little speaker driver thingies are a little bit more tough. So let's see here. I might have to, okay, no, it's working. Just shove that all in there. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and look at the other side. I'm gonna use the pointy plastic piece to flip those things all up. There we go. Round it out, go to the other side, same thing, flip this back up, anything that got tucked in, round that out. There we go. Perfect. We're going to do the same thing with this one. This side again is easier because there's nothing in the way here. So let's go ahead and grab that. All right, pinch it up, shove it in, pinch it up, shove it in. All right, let's flip this over. You can see it's all scrunched, so we're going to use the little pick to pull that through. Go, just like that. Flip it over, make sure that's all out, and round it out, and there we go. All right, last speaker. Let's go ahead and put this in, make sure that latches up so we can get that connector in. Got to get this side in first, so at an angle, drop it in. Let's go ahead and put in these T5 or Torx 5 screws. Just like that. And just like this. Alright, let's go ahead and get this connector in. Pull it up, slightly curved. I know you can't really see that on camera, but we go, get that in. Okay, line it up, pull that in, slide the latch over. Alright, put that down. Okay, moment of truth. We're going to reconnect the battery now. So we got the one T5 Torx 5 screw here. Let's go ahead and grab that. I'm going to let this go down. Tighten this screw into place. Alright, and then we got the little connector here for the battery. If you don't have this cable or it's broken, your computer's not going to work, so keep that in mind. This cable is important. Very important. Right, grab that. Get that all lined up. I know my hand's in the way. Try and get it out of the way. There we go. Oops. It's hard to do this if I'm trying to let you guys see what's going on. Okay, hold that into place. We're going to pull this to slide it in. Right, once you got it slid in all the way, slide that latch over. Put that adhesive down. And there we go. Let's go ahead and see if this MacBook powers up. I don't know. There was a lot of water in this thing, so I have my doubts. But let's see. Alright, right now, trackpad's not doing anything. So if we plug this in and the trackpad starts clicking, that's somewhat of a good sign. Let's plug this in. I feel some clicking. Ooh, I hear, ooh, we got screen. That's amazing. So hopefully we have 100% functionality. I'm not 100% sure, but we do have the Apple logo. Okay, and it looks like it's working. So hopefully all the keyboard, everything is working. I don't know about the touchpad. I won't know until they sign in. I'm going to have to ask them to sign in. I'll see if the thing works. But yeah, let's go ahead and put this thing back together completely. So we're going to put that here. Let's go ahead and put this little sticker piece back on. I like to line up this little circle here with the screw. Let's zoom in so you can see better. So I line up the circle with that screw like this, and then I just roll this over the top. You want to be careful because that cable is kind of sticking up somewhat. Alright, and then we're going to go ahead and put this, line this up with this here. Okay, and just go over the top to get that all stuck down. Alright, we're going to get this bottom cover now. Zoom out. Okay, and then the opposite of before, we're going to slide it this way, but it has to be angled up. Alright, so we're going to angle this up slightly here. Okay, you want to make sure to line up the edge here. I know the lighting's not good, so it's hard to see this, but I mean, you guys get the idea, I would think. Okay, it's a little tricky to do this. Get that lined up and then slide it in. There we go. Get that lined up. While you're holding this down, slide that in. Go back over here. Make sure it's slid in all the way. One more time. Make sure all these lines are lined up well. It looks like it's a little bit more over to this side, so I might have to take it out to fix that. But let's see if we can push this a tiny bit. Okay, nope. So I guess we're gonna have to take it out. Let's go ahead and pull this back out. Okay, just slightly. I'm gonna slightly move it over. There we go. Push that back in. Push this back in. Push this back in. It's still slightly over to one side. Let's pull this back out. Okay. Sorry, I'm like super like anal with this stuff where I want to get it perfect. I don't know if it's like OCD or whatever, but let's go ahead and get that lined up. Okay, I think that's probably about as good as we're gonna get it. All right, let's check one more time. Yep, all right, so it's all lined up. The back looks good. The gap spacing around it's all even. Push this down, push that down. And then one thing I like to do is a PRAM and SMC reset after all of this. Let's go ahead and switch to the P5 Pentalobe 1.2 screwdriver and put these screws all back in. And then I'm going to show you the PRAM and SMC reset. Okay, so let's get all of these screws in. Usually I do that whenever there's any major hardware component changes. Technically these are all the same hardware components, but sometimes doing a PRAM and SMC reset helps me see if everything is working 100% properly. All right. Okay, I was not expecting to have to do this type of repair this late at night, but I have a battery repair that I have to finish up. But yeah. All right, there we go. We got it all reassembled. Let's go ahead and see if we can do the PRAM and SMC reset. So we're gonna flip this over, open this up. Okay, so PRAM reset or SMC reset. I don't know if the SMC reset will work. Let's try. So SMC reset is Control Option Shift on the left and then power button. It didn't do anything, so I guess it didn't work. All right, so now we're gonna try PRAM reset. Let's restart. Command Option P and R, hold those keys down. You should hear the chime, or you should at least see the screen come on and then shut off. All right, so you hear the chime, the screen should shut off, and then it should chime a second time. It didn't work. So I don't know if the 2020 MacBooks, maybe they got rid of that feature or they changed something. Let me try something real quick. I'm gonna shut this down. I was told by someone on one that you hold the power button to get to special features, so let's try that. I'm going to just hold the power button this time. And we're just going to keep holding this. And we're going to see if it shows the special menu. Because that's what I saw one time that I had to do to get into like the recovery mode. So I'm just going to keep holding the power button. And see if anything happens. If nothing happens, then I don't know. Alright, I don't see anything happening here. I feel the trackpad clicking, so it's on. Oh, there we go. So it says continue holding for startup options. So that's correct. If you keep holding the power button, it goes to this, loading startup options. Okay, so these are some secret tips and tricks that they don't really tell you. So now we're gonna get to the internet recovery mode, I believe. Here you can see the shutdown and restart menus. All right, hopefully this entire computer's working okay. Again, I don't know if the touch bar is working because I have yet to see any of those come on. But again, it doesn't work in the regular boot mode, I think. So let's see what the options here are. So you can boot your regular hard drive. So they got rid of the hold the option key to go to the recovery menu, I think. So here you see Mac OS recovery. We're in the recovery assistant right now. All right, it's examining the hard drives, and then it's probably going to just show like what account is connected here. So I see the battery's at 46%. I'm expecting to see it go up. Oh, it does show the account, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to restart the computer. Okay, but that's pretty much all there is to this. Again, hopefully this video helped you guys. I know this was a super long repair. If this video helped, again, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can also learn how to do these things. Most of these computers I just figure out based on looking at them, so hopefully you guys can understand that I can't just go through and start ripping everything out because I don't want to damage customers' things. And yeah, anyways, if this video saved you a bunch of money, I know this saved this customer probably close to $1,000. But anyways, thanks for watching. Again, if it saved you money, again, please consider contributing a little bit to the channel. this kind of stuff I put a lot of work and effort into, kind of pointing out everything, how to remove everything. If I were to do this without really explaining anything, this would take me probably like 40-50 minutes maybe. But anyways, hopefully my customer won't be mad that I made them wait longer because I was doing this video. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. All right, let's drop this. Bye.